I'm Mir Khutubuddin Khan, and I'm here to talk about polo and horses. And this is an initiative by FACE Foundation, and I'm pleased to be here talking about my passion, polo. Polo started in Manipur way back 200 years ago at Impal, Manipur, and this game took its name from the root of a tree of which the ball is made of, which is called Polo. And the Mongols took this game up initially 400 years ago, and this was played by earlier records of Babur playing polo with his cavalry, and then came Akbar. He used to play this game with radium balls sitting on an elephant with long polo mallets. The stick that is used for polo is called a polo mallet, which is made out of cane. This game was soon picked up by the British, and a personality of Hyderabad, the commander-in-chief of the Nizam's forces, in the year 1920s, went to England for the coronation of George V, and that was the time Ham Polo started. That is the oldest polo club in the world today, in 1926 at Hampshire Polo Club. The British brought this game into the Indian Army. That time it was the princely states, and these princely states played this game with great gusto because all of them had cavalry, and the best way to exercise horses and see the men in action was this game of polo, which is played between 4 people and 4 people each, with 32 horses and 2 horses for the umpires. That takes a lot many horses to play on a field of 1,000 feet by 300 feet. That is about 9 polo fields together, 9 football fields together. I would like to say that Hyderabad, being the princely state of the Nizam, and had a large cavalry, and Nawab used to keep the cavalry for the king of Hyderabad. So they had polo teams. Each cavalry had a polo team. A name was given to a polo team, and these 4 used to play against the next 4 at the Lal Bahadur Stadium, which was called the Fateh Maidan, which was a polo ground, and then the parade ground at Secunderabad, which is now called the Bison Polo Ground, and then the parade ground at the Sarbat Rai Regiment at Mahidipatnam, which was also a polo ground, and Hyderabad boasted of 17 polo grounds at that time. And in 1950s, when the police action happened and the Indian Army took over Hyderabad, the operation was called Operation Polo. After that, the Indian Army played polo in Hyderabad and still does. We bought this arena polo in the year 88, and we started this polo club, Dasar Polo. We are 40 horses strong at a place called Janwada, and we have initiated this game for the citizenry of Hyderabad. No longer a king of sport, it is now the sport for a common man. The tournament that happen each year, the Independence Day Cup, the Republic Day Cup in January, the Christmas Cup in December. This is the Mongols at that time picked up this sport, which they are called Mughals here, and because of their large cavalry, they had to exercise their horses, I suppose, and this was a quite popular sport. During the British times, the states were given cavalry for the British Army. This game is actually a Manipuri game initially, and the royals picked it up because of their cavalry, and they had to play the sport to exercise their ponies. And it is actually, earlier it was thought to be a war game. So they were, like they play chess, there were maneuvers and there was strategy involved in a game of polo. A strategy is like the diamond formation, like the horn formation, like the needle formation. These formations of the polo game are like the moves of a chess game. This was earlier more like a war game, which was played in peace times. The commander-in-chief of the Nizam's forces was a cavalryman. His name was Sir Afzal Mulk, Muhammad Ali Beg. His family played intensive polo, so much so that his children also, the girls also from his family played polo. And Khamarun-Nisa Begum, Hamidun-Nisa Begum, Bashirun-Nisa, there were some of the ladies from the Chinoy family, Shapurwadis, Dora Koti auntie's mother. They were all polo players who were called the Golconda Fairies that time. In 1930s, just before the independence, these ladies were playing polo under the colors of the Golconda Fairies. The ladies of the Paiga also were playing polo. The children of the Paigas were also playing polo. The Paiga team, the Paiga also, the House of Paigas also had a polo team. Today, polo is played on arena polo grounds, that is a size of a football field, 300 yards by 150 yards. Between three players against three players with one umpire on the field. In Hyderabad, one of the most popular is Nasar Polo that is happening here, and we are conducting 4 polo matches, tournaments every year. The polo grounds, one is in Mannaguda, that is by Hyderabad Chowgan, and there's one other polo ground which is now, I think, turned into a tennis ground or something. So right now, the most popular I can see is Hyderabad Polo, which is Nasar Polo, which is having all the facilities, including a tack shop at the Hyderabad stores, which sells all the kind of polo equipment that is needed for the game. Tack is very important in this game. Beside the saddle and the bridle, a lot of tack much more goes into this readiness of the horse, like the boots and like the martingales and nose bands. The tail of a horse is tied up, braided, so that it doesn't get tangled with the polo mallet when it is switched. Hyderabad also boasted of the Golconda Cup, which is a 7 feet tall cup, which was won in 1940s by Jaipur and won by Hyderabad Chowgan 20 years, nearly 3 decades later, 60 years later, and brought back to Hyderabad, which is quite a feather in their cap. So that is a prized trophy, 7 feet tall, the Golconda Cup. The cavalrymen who were the initial players of Hyderabad were people like General Khosrow Jung, Shah Mirza Beg, Shamil Beg, Mirza Hamid Ali Beg, Usman Yar Jung, Usman Yaruddola, Himayat Yaruddola. These were prominent polo players who played for Hyderabad against the royalty of Rajasthan, like Maharaja Hanod Singh, Maharaja Jai Singh, and Maharaj Prem Singh of Jodhpur, Maharaj Gaj Singh's father. So it's very, what should I say, is dependent on the horse. The fitness and the smartness of the horse, as the horse is plays 70% of the game. The rider is 30% involvement. The horse has got more job to do at the polo grounds. So my great-grandfather, Muhammad Ali Beg Sir Afzal Mulk, took his horses to London for the King George coronation, and he played polo there with with the English on Hampshire Polo Grounds, which I said was established way back in 1920s, 26 to be precise. Uh, the polo players, the polo handicapping is -2 is the lowest, +10 is the highest, and the difference between a +4 and a +5 is that the +5 handicap goaler thinks a fraction of a second faster than the +4. I hope you're getting that. The thinking, the large thinking, the getting the whole table into your consciousness and analyzing the whole field is the art of polo. So the number 10 goaler is the coolest and the most conscientious player, much advanced, and his horses are moving at probably 85 kilometers an hour and inclined at perpendicular at say 30 degrees to the ground when he's taking a shot. That kind of polo is played between 10 goalers. A game of 40 goal means all the 4 players of a side are 10 goalers. That is called a 40 goal team. And a -2 game is played by the youngsters who are still learning the game. And the horses are also -2, as the horses play the most important part. The horses that were used in Hyderabad were of a very sturdy kind. They were called the Deccan horses. These horses are not very large. They are short built, but they are very sturdy. Like the Mongol horses, the horses of the steppes, these horses were so sturdy, and now they are actually extinct because the thoroughbred has come into the field, and thoroughbred are now most adapt to this game. But in the international world, the Argentinian horse, they are called the RGs, the Argentinian horse, they are great players because their speed and their endurance is much more. It is more refined and more enhanced than the thoroughbred. But thoroughbred, being of a heavier build, is much liked by the polo players of India. And accessibility to the thoroughbred is also one of the reasons for this. But in the initial days, the Deccan pony, the Deccan horse, which was called, were used for this game earlier. And that was a sturdy horse, and it could play, though its charge was limited to say about 300 yards, but they had a great gusto for this game. The horse plays the game more than the player. The horse plays, like I said, 70% of the game. The rider's bit is 30%. In the game of polo, that ball made of wood is struck by the mallet, and it can the drive is say about 125 to 150 yards. And I've seen some players like Brigadier VP Singh and the late Pradeep Mehra, who could strike a ball to about 200 feet, 200 yards rather. In fact, I've seen some like Maharaj Prem Singh used to play number 4, and he used to hit hard, like across the polo field. So these are polo players of renown. Mountbatten himself used to play with these people, and he written a book on the maneuvers of polo, which he gave it to my family too. And my boys use this as a Bible to play the polo. Most of the Indian Army is using these strategies that were designed. And over the years, the modern polo boys have kept this book on the shelf, and they are developing their own strategies. They're called maneuvers. Field polo is played on a large field of 300 yards by 150 yards. And arena polo is played on a smaller field, 300 feet by 150 feet. Because as the maintenance of the ground, upkeep, has become a difficult prospect with people so busy in the IT world that they prefer to play a shorter game where they don't have to gallop so long across the polo field. So now they are playing three a side instead of four a side. Instead of 35 horses for a game of polo, now they use 25 horses for a game of arena polo. So that's 10 horsepower less. And uh, the game is as long as a field polo, half an hour, but it's divided into four chukkers. Each chukker is 7.5 minutes, and the bugle blows. Then a gap of 2 minutes to change the horse, because in one chukker of 7.5 minutes, the horse is blown. He's tired because uh, the game is quite intense. Uh, then the second chukker, again with fresh horses is played. Likewise, it goes to four horses. Now in arena polo, the ball is played by the rubber ball, which is much larger than the wooden ball of polo. Because the polo ball is fast moving, the rubber is actually like a handball size ball, which is a diameter, I think, so 15 cm, 15 centimeters, shaped like, stitched like a football, stitched together patches and filled with air. That is whacked with this mallet. Size of the mallet remains the same, but instead of two umpires on the field for field polo, we have one umpire for arena polo, and the goal is higher. There are two parts of the goal. If you hit on the lower part of the goal is one score, and if you hit on the upper side of the goal post, it is 2 points. Likewise, in field polo, the ball is moving at a faster pace. It goes with the ground, and even a lofty ball is also scored 1 point, unlike arena polo. So now the game has become more faster in a smaller field and with lesser number of players. 6 people playing, get 3 aside. The other thing I would like to mention is the horse. I would like to mention that the horse has an attitude. The polo horse has an attitude where he is conditioned to play this game which he likes. If the horse doesn't like the game, he can't play polo. So the attitude of the horse is the most important part in the game of polo. He is trained for that. In racing or in other discipline of horsemanship, the horse is trained for that discipline. In polo, they are trained to turn on a penny, like the word goes. That means that on a little penny, the horse can move around. This side 180 degrees, this side 180 degrees. He can prance across and run at his full capacity of nearly about 80 kilometers an hour. And the penalties of polo is crossing the line, our dangerous play. And being the fastest game in the world, polo is a high contact sport where horses and riders tend to get hurt if it's not played safe. So the umpire's job is more towards safe play and more towards seeing that because there's one aspect of polo, that is ride off, where two horses clash and removed from the game, means removed from the line of ball, so that the other player gets a chance. He can't, if this somebody else's line of ball, the player can't take that ball unless he rides off. So ride off is when the when they hit each other. So that has to be done very carefully, because the tangent has to be less than 40 degrees, or they can hurt each other. So any ride-off more than, say, 30 degrees is called fault. That way, it is very important, very impertinent to see that the players play safe, because in the rush of the game, the horse and the rider tends to go overboard, and they might hurt each other or the other player. So that is why they have to play a very safe game, and they have to be monitored by the umpire for a safe chukka. The other disciplines that are most popular worldwide are the dressage, show jumping, and hacks, and mounted sports. Mounted sport is played uh, by children to, you know, promote them and their husband's skills, and finding out their talent for this game. Dressage is one of the most happening things that is popular in worldwide. In India, it's caught on, and show jumping by the Federation of Equestrian Arts is quite a popular thing in India, and we have riders from India going getting ready for the Olympics now. One rider from Bangalore is ready with his warm-blooded horses. Warm-blooded, I mean, they are warm bloods. That is horses which are a little more passionate. That is why they are called warm bloods. They are more thinking. A polo pony is also called a thinking horse because he is also analyzing the game. He is going where the ball is going. He is trying to understand and help the rider play a better game. So that is why a polo pony is called a thinking horse. And the horses have names. They have passports because they are moving. Before transporting them from one locale to another, there's a Coggan test that takes place because we don't want horses to get affected by viruses and stuff. So whenever horses are moving from one city to another, there's a Coggan test. And horse flesh, because it's very expensive, people look after the horses very well, and they are like the horses are like a family to a polo playing team. They are very concerned and very considerate to the welfare of the horse, the upkeep of the horse, because that is their lifeline. The horses are fed on, a polo horse is fed on oats and barleys, wheat bran and wheat flakes, because they are supposed to be very, very polo fit. So their food and their upkeep is a top priority. And like the player, a polo playing rider is, like they say, polo fit. Polo fit is ultimate health condition. If a polo player is unfit, he can't play because that half an hour polo on 4 horses takes a lot of energy and takes a lot of sense, because analyzing the game and like in polo, they say you have to all the time tell yourself, what am I doing here? Why am I here? On a polo field, you have to analyze yourself, that why are you here, and you have to react to that condition. That is a good polo player. I congratulate and I thank the initiative by FACE Foundation for the exemplary way of promoting stories of Hyderabad in the Hyderabad, the city of many stories. That is a nice way of saying Hyderabad has got history and culture. Thank you very much.